coroner has concluded the BBC Radio Newcastle presenter Lisa Shaw died due to complications from her AstraZeneca COVID vaccination. Lisa, who was 44, died in May, 3 weeks after being given her first dose of the vaccine. Well, our news correspondent Mark Denton was at the inquest at Newcastle Civic Centre today and joins me now. Mark, Lisa's death, a terrible tragedy. What did the inquest hear?
Well, the inquest heard that Lisa first developed severe headaches when she was at home, and as she was initially treated at hospital in Durham, she was then transferred to the Royal Victoria Hospital in Newcastle. Now, in her conclusion, the senior Newcastle coroner Karen Dilks said it clearly was established that Lisa's death was due to a vaccine-induced thrombotic cytopenia, which is basically a blood clot which then leads to bleeding on the brain. Now, she said this was a very rare condition indeed. Now, earlier we heard evidence from Dr. Christopher Johnson. He treated Lisa in hospital in Newcastle. He said it was one of the very first cases that he come across where the underlying cause of a condition, in his view, was a complication of taking the AstraZeneca vaccine. Now, Lisa, we heard, had no history of deep vein thrombosis. She'd been fit and healthy. She was a non-smoker. A pathologist who examined her, though, said it supported strongly the idea, Jeff, that her condition was vaccine-induced. Now, Lisa joined BBC Radio Newcastle in 2016. She previously worked for a number of commercial stations, including Century, in the region, where she won an award, a Sony Radio Award for Best Radio Presenter for The Breakfast Show.
And Lisa's family paid tribute today?
Yeah, Lisa's father and her husband Gareth were both at the inquest today. In a statement, her family said tonight, "This is another difficult day in what has been a devastating time for us. The death of our beloved Lisa has left a terrible void in our family and in our lives." It goes on, she truly was the most wonderful wife, mum, daughter, sister and friend.
Very sad indeed. Mark, thanks very much for that. Well, a short while ago, I spoke to our health correspondent Sharon Barber and I asked her to put this tragic case in context. What do we know about the risks associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine?
Well, there is a known side effect of the AstraZeneca vaccine. It's very rare, but it's a condition where blood clots form in combination with low platelet levels, which can cause bleeding. If we have a look at the risks, up until August the 11th, there were 412 cases of blood clots after around 49 million doses. Of those 412, 73 people have died. So that's less than 2 in a million, Jeff.
Each of those deaths obviously tragic, but as you said, the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risks, and people are still being urged to have a vaccination.
That's right. So all medicines and vaccines carry some risks, and the hope is always that the benefits outweigh it. And with COVID, around 1,900 people per million have died from COVID. So the risks are substantial, and the risks of having a blood clot with COVID are substantial. 1 in 5 of those hospitalised will get a blood clot. So all the, the health regulator, the government, the JCVI, the vaccination and immunisation group, urge people to get their vaccine because, for the vast majority of people, the benefits far outweigh the risks. I think it's also important to say that, governments and people all around the world are looking closely at this issue, and more research will be published imminently, so we'll learn more in the coming days, I understand. But certainly a very difficult day again for Lisa's family, for her friends, and of course her colleagues at the BBC.
Indeed. Sharon, thank you. The man leading the investigation